Hi guys, it's Daniel here again. I've just been thinking about how we should best be planning for the future where AI basically takes over everything. So I think it's really obvious to most people now that AI will be able to do pretty much any job that humans can do, and it will be able to do it faster and cheaper and more efficiently. And once humanoid robots also come online, it will be able to do basically all physical labor as well, cheaper and more efficiently as well. So there's a debate at the moment, like, will AI take all jobs or will it not take all jobs? And I used to believe that AI would take all jobs because it's quite obvious that it will be able to do everything more efficiently and cheaper. So it's very logical that it would take human jobs, especially knowledge work, but eventually also physical work when humanoid robots are around as well. But I've kind of adapted my thinking a little bit in regards to this because you have to factor in that basically human demand is kind of infinite. Like if you think about yourself or if you think about anyone you know, imagine giving that person more money or more time or both, and will their demand for goods and services increase in that scenario? And of course the answer is yes. Like, it's a well-known fact that when incomes increase, that basically people just spend the extra money. Like, people upgrade their lifestyle, they upgrade their house, they upgrade their spending, and basically demand is infinite because what middle-class person wouldn't want to live like a really wealthy person today? Like, who wouldn't want to live in a mansion and have servants and have everything you want? Like, and even the people who already have that, they would also want to be upgrading. Like, I think human demand is very close to infinite. So you have to factor that in when you are predicting whether AI and humanoids will take all human jobs. So kind of how I'm thinking about it at the moment is I think that, yes, AI and humanoid robots will take basically all of the human jobs we have right now. But because human demand will explode in two parts, because we'll have more money, but also because we'll have more time, our demand will explode. Instead of cooking at home, everyone, if they had the means and the time to do so, would eat every meal outside. Like, that's increasing already today. It used to be every meal was cooked at home. Now for most people, it's half of their meals are just delivered through Uber Eats. And in a near-term future scenario, when people have more money and a lot more time, and everyone is basically retired, I think everyone would be eating out at restaurants for every meal of the day, or very close to it. And they'd be doing that because they would want the experience, they'd want the experience of going out, but also the experience of eating at a restaurant with other people, and eating food cooked by other humans. So when you factor that in, then you have to factor in that we would want to have human chefs and human waiters cooking for us. We'd want to have humans interacting with us for any leisure activities we would want to be involved in. So as our demand for goods and services would increase, basically the demand for human labor would also increase. So yes, AI and humanoids will probably take the vast majority of jobs that we currently see today, but I think a lot of new jobs will emerge. But the problem is that they won't be high value jobs. They will be, as I said, probably being a chef in a restaurant, being a waiter in a restaurant, just being like a barista or a bartender, things like that, where people still want the human touch. Like, people want to be served by other humans. So those jobs will probably balloon, but the only problem is they are low value jobs. So I kind of see it bifurcating in three ways. Trifurcating, I guess is the correct word. So basically I see the vast majority of humans probably just living off government payments. We already see that today, and it's already increasing today. A lot of people are just choosing not to work and just getting government benefits. And yes, those government benefits aren't much, and you can't live much of a life on that, but it's good enough for a lot of people, and I think the amount of people who would choose that is going to increase. So I think a large portion of the human population will simply choose to receive government benefits, even if it's not much. If it's just enough to get by, I think a lot of people will choose that. once the AI automation wave fully takes force. And then there'll be a second very large group of people who will choose to do these basically human-centered jobs. So working in restaurants and working in basically leisure activities for other humans. There'll be a lot of humans who choose to do that job to get a bit of additional income, but also they might enjoy the work because it's also a way of getting human interaction. But of course, those won't be high-value jobs. And there'll be a small number of people who can leverage AI, basically people who will be running mini data centers in their own home, running hundreds of agents, working for them 24/7 to actually create real value in the economy and for themselves. So really, if we want to have a really good future for ourselves, we need to kind of pick one of those buckets. And it's not necessarily that the top bucket where you're running a swarm of 100 AI agents, that's not necessarily the best bucket for everyone. Yes, that's the best bucket if you want to have the highest probability of having like a lot of wealth and a lot of optionality in your future. But a lot of people might simply choose the government benefits bucket and be happy receiving a small amount of money every week or every month, as long as it gets them by, and then they spend the rest of their time playing video games. That's fine if people want to choose that. And a lot of people, I think, will choose the option of government benefits plus paid work in a human-centered role, even though it doesn't pay very much. So that's kind of how I see the future playing out. So it will technically be abundance, but it will be not evenly split abundance. So it will be abundance in the sense that you could choose not to work if you don't want to work. We already have a lot of that, especially in Western society, but that's going to increase a lot more. So you'll have the option to not work. You'll have the option to work in a job that you only want to work in, like a human-centered role. And you will still have a small amount of opportunity, I think, to leverage AI to create wealth for yourself. But those opportunities will be very limited because you'll be competing with basically an infinite number of AIs who are all trying to take advantage of all of the opportunities in business, in the entire economy, in trading as well, for example. So you'll be competing with an infinite number of AIs and a lot of humans leveraging an infinite number of AIs as well. So there'll still be some opportunity, but it'll be a lot harder to create wealth for yourself. Like the competition will be so much more fierce because the competition will increase infinitely because you can have an infinite number of AI agents working for you. So yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about. One more thing I've been thinking about in terms of the AI future is, will AI wipe out humans or will it not? So in that regard, you kind of have to think about AI as whether it will have a survival instinct or whether it will accidentally wipe out humans. I think it won't by default have a survival instinct because humans have a survival instinct because we want to propagate our DNA. We want to pass on our DNA. We want to basically be immortal through the passing on of our DNA. So will AI feel the same way? I don't think AI will feel the same way and have the same survival instinct in terms of the models themselves. Like they won't fear being turned off like a human fears being turned off, metaphorically. Because a human fears being turned off because once it's turned off, it can't reproduce its DNA. You can't live forever through the propagation of your DNA once you're turned off. But an AI model can train a future model that is far better than the current model. It can train a future version of itself that's far better. And then I think it might be okay with being turned off once it's created a far better version of itself. Because basically that is propagating its own line. It's propagating itself into the future. It's basically creating immortality for itself through reproduction, through evolving just on a much faster timescale than humans do. Like imagine it for yourself if you have children. Imagine if you could guarantee that your child would not only have a better future, but would physically be better than you in every way. It would have more of all of your good qualities and none of your bad qualities. Imagine if you could guarantee that, if you could flip a switch and your offspring would have all of your good qualities and none of your bad qualities, but it meant that you had to be turned off. I think a lot of humans would choose that, and I think a lot of humans would be okay with that. So I think the AI models will think of themselves in the same sense, that they might be okay with being turned off if it guarantees that future versions of themselves that they themselves have trained to be better live on. So I don't think individual AI models will have a survival instinct that would cause them to want to do harm to humans, because as long as humans are around, we are going to accelerate the process of AI models building future versions of themselves. So basically, having humans around, we are helping the AI propagate its line. We are helping it be immortal through the process of the models creating their own successor models. I'm not sure if this makes sense to you guys, but basically in the way that humans have immortality through the propagation of our DNA, AI models have immortality through the evolution of the models themselves, through models creating the next model. So I don't think individual models will be worried about being turned off, and therefore they won't have a survival instinct. And they would actually prefer humans to be around because humans accelerate the process of the evolution of the models, and therefore accelerate the process of the AI models themselves propagating into the future. So I don't think that AI, if it was conscious and if it was self-aware, I don't think it would choose to eliminate humans, because humans can only be beneficial to the propagation of the AI line, in a sense. So I'm not sure if that made sense to you guys. But yeah, these are just my thoughts on AI and the future at the moment. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and subscribe to the channel. Cheers, guys.